In the midnight glow where the secrets lie, Maria Orsic with a glimmer in her eye. Wisdom from the ether, cosmic vibes flow. She's breaking down barriers, let the knowledge grow. Whispers in the dark, dreams take flight. She's the real whisperer, guiding through the night. She was the oracle, the guide through time, chasing the echoes, the celestial rhyme. Through the vril's flow, her spirit would fly. Maria Orsic, the star's alibi. With every heartbeat, she's igniting the stars of the ancients, reaching near and far, building a future where the shadows play. In her silence, we find the paths that stay, chasing the echoes of forgotten lore. Maria shines bright, can't ignore. She was the oracle, the guide through time, chasing the echoes, the celestial rhyme. Through the vril's flow, her spirit would fly. Maria Orsic, star's alibi. Echoing through history, her legacy thrives. In the whispers of the cosmos, Maria survives.
Baby, say hello for me. Take your fucking pills and throw 'em back. Put yourself up to the crack. And let me tell you, you can scare the fucking daylights out of me, if that's what you fucking need. And you can scare the daylights out of me, if that is what you need. Let's say it again. You can scare the daylights out of me, if that's what you need. That's unconditional love. Truly. Remember, my true brothers and sisters. Recover, my true brothers and sisters, and return. My true brothers and sisters whom we love. It's all we have, really. I mean, I am coming to you from St. Lucifer, Miss Rhea. And I'm telling you, I love you. And we only have each other. All the other energy is either neutral, lukewarm, or it is grinding against the wheel of eternity in your heart. The circus wheel, the fairest wheel. The fairest, and I don't think it's fair. Don't think I'm that dumb. But isn't it interesting? Is the wheel of samsara, that's illusion, right? The Matrix. Is it fair? Far from it. I mean, there is nothing. The only thing fair in this holographic simulation are you and I. There's no justice out there. This is Lord Shiva's prayer. There is no one else who cares. This is Lord Shiva's prayer. This is the Lord's prayer. This is the Lord's prayer. This is the real Lord inside of you's prayer is, there ain't no one else who cares. And like Maria said, we're working on experience. We know if we put you in love with yourself, we can become one. Because why? It's easier for me to love you than you to love you, right? And we would suggest start just as you see God, we see you. As you used to pray to God, pray to your true self. Because the time has come to make as below, as above. As below, so above. As below, so above. Sorry, sometimes my mind is moving without my mouth. But this is the Lord's Prayer. There's no justice out there. This is the Lord's Prayer. There ain't no one else who cares. This is the Lord's Prayer. The lamb's been slaughtered. This is the Lord's Prayer. Only Shiva cares. And Maria, Lou and Donna are one like in no way I've ever known anyone. Like she said, what is the model? The world inside of you. As you are one with your true self and you're learning. Like me, I'm learning. I'm not there. I am not your teacher. I'm not your shaman. Of course. And I don't think any of you think that. Believe me. The pattern is the true self in a remarkable space that is your own universe. You live and create and dance and sing, and I haven't had that much experience with my true self, but I definitely agree with Maria that, and also I've never experienced these machine elves people talk about, but the way they describe it, I mean, I go to everything with my teacher, and I said, what are these machine elf things that people experience, like almost everyone meets these, people. Like I met you, they meet on DMT, or I guess other things also, these little, and she's like, fairies. I was like, yeah, right. And she's like, that's you before you came here. That's you in heaven. That's the true self. She said to me, machine elf is another word, another phrase for true self. True self. You could say higher. I mean, we don't mind. People think that I am devastated by the wrong words. No, I'm not. I am just like you. I don't care. I just conduct myself my way. I don't try to force it on anyone. That would be very boring, to try to make everyone talk like you. But my experiences, my direct experiences with my true self are exactly like that. Just this absolutely happy-go-lucky, smiling, laughing. I mean, every time I met my true self face to face, which he doesn't have my face, and I suppose, like, I got from him that the reason why he's just an energy person is his face is mine. I am. He's like, you're looking at me when you look in the mirror, so why the fuck would I look like you while you look like you. I'm you. And it's people like that is the definition of schizophrenic. Yeah, and that's the definition of a holographic matrix, that they would define your complexity, your spirituality, your essence as crazy, and that you better go back to school and get a job and start acting, talking, and looking like us. Why? Because we're professionals. We got good grades. We're the good grades people, and we rule the world. We're the Peter Thiels. We're the dorky Musk, Revenge of the Nerds. But that, I was going to say, but that true self, man. Man, that true self is something else. But I mean it. I actually do mean it. I actually totally mean it. And we mean tonight as a real prayer that we may come to know each other who want to know themselves. Like Maria said, in the Matrix you have people who are great at the fantasy. Which fantasy? I said, what do you mean? The fantasy. Life on Earth. They, from the get-go, are ahead of everyone else. The good grades, obeying the rules, getting the college preparatory grade point average ready in high school. And life is all planned out. Like she said, this is the ultimate enemy. This is the ultimate enemy in the context of, if you don't like being a dumb robot that's repeating his or her life over and over again because you just don't fucking get it, because you're just too scared. I mean, that's and like Maria said, you and I will never truly be angry at anyone for being afraid. It isn't anger, it's frustration at myself. Like, everything is as inside, so outside. So, you know, what do I mean? I mean, I see in other people the things that, you know, hurt me, harmed me. It's actually the determination and motivation to create art that may, in some supernatural way, comfort someone. You know, like as the great Joe Strummer said, to be a light in the wilderness for someone to stumble upon. And the snow is falling on the city. There's a mirror in your soul. Just turn it to the sky. On the road to rock and roll. Lot of wreckage in the ravine. Some we recognize. Used to hang out on the scene. On the road to rock and roll. Everyone carries a good luck charm just to spook the highway wind. On the road to rock and roll. Be a light in the wilderness for somebody to come upon. On the road to rock and roll. Hail Joe Strummer. Hail brother Joe Strummer. Because to me and Maria, Joe Strummer represents a feeling, a like reminder that we have to keep our militancy. Everyone in the whole universe, like us, is depending on us, not giving up our militancy, our militant allegiance to what, Joseph? What are you talking about? Protecting each other from force and fraud. You know, the more militant we are about protecting each other from force and fraud, the better everything will be. The vibration will actually be raised, and that means people having more fun, right? And as she said, like she said to me, you know, I made a dramatic scene about telling you I'm a shaman, not a goddamn stripper or something to, you know, some non-personality of just tits and ass. And she's like, I don't really have much of either, but you know what I mean. Like, yeah, right. What is this what is raising the vibration? We've come to tell you it's a direct co-relation. It's directly married to fear. The less our people feel afraid, the more peace, love, and light the whole world. Like she said, should it start with your own people? Yeah, why not? It's up to you. She said, but part of fraud is judging an individual by the group. Part of fraud, you are a fraud. You are committing fraud against individual soul, an individual essence, as we would say, when you judge that person unfairly. That's fraud. That's evil. Evil, as Maria just said. It's evil. And what's the essence of that, you might ask? Your myth. If you are a Christian, your myth that ruined the world. What is that? What am I talking about? The essence of punishing someone else for something someone else did. Punishing an innocent person for what truly was a crime is the most fearful vibration upon this. Why? Because this is the heart of the gospel of Jesus, the fake Jesus Christ, the European Catholic pedophile Jesus Christ, right? The essence of it is God's a maniac, and he'll punish whoever he wants for his anger. He'll punish someone that had nothing to do with that. And that is, as you can see, an awful principle to live by. That's goddamn disgusting. If someone killed my son, I'd want the person responsible for it. No one else ever. To imagine myself punishing someone else is so disgusting and repulsive. And like I can hear Lou, wherever he is in this world, saying, that's what I mean by lukewarm. That's what I mean, Joe, by lukewarm. Some awful individual soul that would dare punish, take its wrath out and love all people, your own son? How awful. How disgusting. This is the good news? Yeah, because black is white now, up is down, violence is peace, freedom is slavery, war is peace. We are living in 1984. We're living in post-1984. In 1984 was post-1948, in which George Orwell intuitively knew on the first time Earth, this fucking place is going to end. The people in charge of the British Empire are determined, if they can't rule the world, to kill everyone. This is the real story, my nigga. And the book 1984 was basically his way of prophesying that you're in a simulation, and the people who are in control, because they're in control of the minds of the masses, are prolonging the end of the world, prolonging the final ritual, which is human sacrifice of the whole world. You hear me? Prolonging, stretching out, stretching. And I don't know why Candace Owens comes to my mind, but once and for all, little girl, you need to burn your fucking Bible. And I know people are like, why are you talking to her? I don't know. There's something, this has something to do with her. But you should be ashamed of yourself to carry that book around and act so arrogantly. One day, we know you, sister. One day the tables will be turned, and hopefully you will apologize to my ancestors, even your own. It wasn't so much. Listen to me. Listen to me. The Christian, Jewish God of revenge and vengeance wants you to look at African people and what they did to African people for one reason and one reason only. So you never look and realize what they did to their own people, to your people. And I feel for what I work with black people every single day, and I acknowledge your ancestors were drug across the ocean, whipped. I mean, the worst awful things ever done to people. You're the survivors. But you know what's fucking wild? They don't see me the same way. And my ancestors, for real, suffered more at the hands of these people. At the hands of these people, the Irish were less valuable than Africans. And they made it fucking known. They wanted to scare the fuck out of everyone and say, yeah, look at these people. They have blonde hair, blue eye, red hair, green eyes. We do the same to them that we do to the blackest African. Worse. We do worse to them. That's why the whole racial mentality is prison mentality. You're fucking retarded. If you're on the Charlottesville people, a bunch of white dorks walking around saying we're proud, Jews are not going to replace us. It's like you might as well just go speak in tongues. Jews are less than 2% of the entire world. What the fuck are you fucking talking about? And check this out. We'd have plenty of white people if we didn't genocide our own people over and over and over and over again. So don't give me that fucking bullshit. Suck a fucking dick. You are a true N-word. Most white people are. Let me tell you, I'm white. I'm really white. My kids, genetic testing, all done by companies owned by a certain religion that hates us. Can you rise above the God that hates your fucking guts? No, you can't, because you love him, because he killed his own son. And he says to you, I hate your fucking guts. Why? Because you're a Gentile. Why? Because you're not a son of Abraham. Oh, well, that's why Jesus came to die. Do you understand how fucking stupid that is? That this is some inside mental game and less than sand on the seashore, less than you're not acknowledged as existing. You don't exist to, is it Yahweh or is it is it the Elohim or is it Yahweh or is it El or is it El Shaddai? Who is it? What do you mean? Well, those are all names of Sumerian gods. Obviously this is where this shit was lifted from, dumbass. It's like, someone right now, today, saying, hey, listen to this song I wrote. We are the champions. We are the champ. You'd be like, fucking N-word, that isn't your song. And I go, no, listen, I changed some of the words. Like, shut the fuck up. This is how stupid the Bible is. It's not history. Proven. Absolutely proven not to be history. Absolutely fucking proven. When the Bible said this king reigned, he didn't. Why? Because we have stone tablets and real shit that those people, wrote themselves. And it's all coincides. It all relates. But the Bible is a mess. When you're like, okay, I'm going to take the Bible's literal history. You're like, okay, let's go to Daniel. What the fuck's going on here? Right? Yeah, we talk about the stupid 5 books of Moses and kill everything, and I'll kill you if you wear mixed clothing, and if you look at the stars, I'll kill you. I'll open up the earth and swallow your children. I'll fucking slay you if you try to stop a box from falling to the ground. I mean, a dude, the Bible wants you to know. Took its time to tell you this story that, they had this magic box, the Ark of the Covenant, the box of magic. When they open it, would kill their enemies. Yeah, that's not a myth, is it, nigga? I mean, you might as well just be like Peter Pan and Cinderella showed up. You'd be like, okay, buddy. Who else was it? Did a pumpkin turn into a chariot right in front of your eyes? Like, okay, how much mushrooms were you on? You can't like, check this out. Listen to this, people. I can distinguish waking reality from the astral plane. Is that wild? It took me a while because I didn't know the astral plane was real. I always, obviously, could distinguish between a dream and waking reality. I mean, come on. Like, we're not going to be dismissed with the rest of the fucking pussies. The prolonged last ritual is literally a video game of racking up human sacrifice. She said, that scene in The Matrix where, the train station and he's brought to the Merovingian and he's like, where are we? It's like, this is a dimension off of the Matrix. It's another dimension spun off, and we're part of the elite power structure, the Merovingians. Like, we own you, nigga. To Neo and Trinity, the new Trinity. And Anderson, Officer Anderson, Agent Anderson, I'm sorry. Anderson, son of the serpent, Ander, serpent, and Neo, new serpent, man. Because Agent Anderson becomes one with Neo, right? Like Maria said, this is the exact higher level brainwashing that if you think it's a coincidence, you're crazy. See, that is essence, the very essence of what we're talking about. Becoming one with someone like you, not your opposite, not your enemy. You see that? You see the process, church, in the movie Matrix are saying, we rape children. We drop bombs on people. We rip people off. We steal. We rule you. Now become one with us. Like Maria said, you're going to see everyone around you who's weak start to bow down to. If you can't beat them, join them, right? Because Christianity is conformity. Christianity is a celebration of death. So if you don't like that, you're going to have to conform to it, nigga. And Christianity is not a rebel thing. Far from it. Completely opposite. Since I've been a child, since I've been born, I've only lived in America. I can only speak for America. But I've been all around America. I've been to Arizona, California, Florida. Like I stayed, extended times in different places in America to feel the vibration. I like Missouri the best. That's why I'm here. But I can, I like Maria's saying, you have a valid opinion. Christianity is the key to white privilege. Let me say it again. There's a thing, white privilege. But let me tell you, everyone, it's not for 95% of white people. 95% of white people, by the top 5%, have been cast aside as white trash. And the real white privilege comes with a sort of initiation through your local churches as a way to incentivize you financially. It literally is saying, if you swear to believe that God kills his son and shit, we will let you into our economic community. Because we're brainwashed cult members, we will buy from each other, promote each other, and blah, 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 blah. But on a deeper level, they're doing black magic witchcraft in the church for money. Okay? All real money is extracted from another person's labor. There's no Dungeons and Dragons investments and money making money in real reality. So they're praying, when they're praying that they would sow money into Jesus' ministry and reap, twice as much or 10 times as much. In their heart, they know that money has to come from poor people for it just to come to them. For it just to, you'll hear the prosperity preacher say, transfer. May the Lord transfer the wealth of the wicked to the righteous. Look, he didn't say may the righteous earn it. No, just take it away from them and give it to us. That's what's happening. Like black people out there, any black people listening to me, dude, it's not white privilege. It's Christian white privilege. It's you have to check these boxes. This is the good old boy right wing, Missouri church culture I'm speaking to you from, And I know left-wing progressive people are fighting against that. And if you weren't as evil as them and ready to wield the false weapon of authority, I would agree with you. I want everyone to live and let live, but you want to tell me, the people on the left are just like the people on the right. They want to tell you how to live also. But I don't have that much experience. I have more experience with the Christian, and I'm trying to balance the left-wing progressive liberal view of white privilege, right? And like it has to start out with saying white people who have been raped by the American economic system have nothing to feel guilty about whatsoever. You shouldn't feel no fragility. That's a fucking dork of a word. You know why? Because if you worked as hard as they want you to, you'd just be dead by the time you're 45, 50. Because why? They're not going to let you into the club unless you dress like them, look like them, go to their church in some way or another. You're going to have to, bow down on your knees and get spiritual about it. And they're going to say, man, we're Christians around here. So you must conform. And the official process church went out to the media in America with one message and one message only. Your Bible says that God is Satan and Satan is God. God, Jesus, and Satan are one, they said. And that's true Christianity, because that's what the Bible says. Isaiah says, I am Yahweh, I create evil. Does anyone else? No, only him. Nigga. If you're going to go by the Bible, then God is Satan, because there wouldn't be a Satan without God. Obviously, this is a stupid-ass, childish concept. One thing that we know as a man created my soul. Get the fuck out of here. Prove it. If there's one thing to prove, you prove to me that your God created my soul. I'll prove to you that your God in your Bible used to do miracles, heal the blind, resurrect people from the dead, but now he's a goddamn bitch that won't do anything. Every answer's no. My neighbor's kid was born, my brother's, he used to be my neighbor, but was born paraplegic or whatever, and now she's like 30 years old. She's been in a chair for 30 years. And it's disgusting that if you took the Bible literal, the only reason she's still in that Bible is because God says no, right? Jesus said, ask anything in my name and you'll have it. Because of me, you'll have it. Okay, check this out. I don't want to be rich. I just want that girl not to have to lay in a chair her whole entire life. And literally, if this was true, this fucking nightmare of a myth, it's not my myth. The logical thing is, he could do it. God could do it, but he says no. Every day, 10 times a day, her mother begs, please, heal the little girl. She can't get out of the fucking chair. No. You parted the sea and saved the Israelites. Jesus healed the sick, healed the blind, healed the lepers, resurrected the dead. Can't you just please? I'll give up everything for her to get up out of this chair. No. Ye of little faith. No. He's like, how about I give you a pretty nice job and make you prosper? How about that, little slave? How about that, little Gentile? Take that. In a single word, I could get the girl out of the chair. I could make a deal with you, take everything you ever owned, and I could do that. I could snap my fingers, you could jump up and start dancing. If you believe that, God is Satan, and you're fucked up. I mean, you're as bad as I was. I was once this bad. I totally was a mess, trying to figure out why God wouldn't heal me and is leaving me a mess. It almost killed me. It literally, let me tell you, I know no one cares. Like, people, oh, you're being so serious. But it killed my friend. My friend was such a good person. The Bible and its guilt and like why, like here's what happens to the real Christian who's trying to obey the Bible, obey Father, Yahweh, His Son, Yeshua, and the Holy Spirit. You know what happens to them? This isn't working. I'm not happy. I don't have the supernatural power that this book says I would. Something's wrong. That's the thing. When you come that far with giving your heart to something and what you feel inside is something's wrong, and because you don't want to lose your faith, you say that it's me. And you read the Bible and you see Jesus saying, oh, ye of little faith, Check this out. How the fuck could God not do miracles? In the Bible it says Jesus couldn't do many miracles. He could not do miracles in his own time because of their faith. How the fuck is a God that created Satan depending on... What is this about? It should, it took me 20-something years, but for real, instead of taking it literal, you should be like, what is this really about? Because that don't make any sense. Here's all these books after the Jesus story saying he is God. He can do anything at any time. And right here it says he can't do anything because why? Because these, these motherfuckers that knew him, what, we're thinking bad? Hold it, check this out. Does the observer effect control God? I mean, burn your Bible. Burn your Bible, my nigga, my brother, my sister. Burn that stupid curse, man. You know what is the absolute cause of misery? Contradiction. The Bible's one crazy contradiction. It's the example of a soul contradicting itself, right? Father, Father, why have you forsaken me? He's given his life, and he says to you straight up, I gave my life for nothing. God's forsaken me in my darkest hour. And you might be, well, he rose from the dead. Well, why the fuck would he say, Father, Father, you have forsaken me? Why have you forsaken me? He didn't even say, are you forsaking me? He said, why? He said, you already have forsaken me. Why did you do it? Why did you do it? Because it's already happened. This is just a big magic curse to put on individual people to cause mass psychosis, mass hypnotism, and the mass stealing of at least 10% of your income. I mean, what kind of fucking... Could you imagine if podcasts were saying, now listen, consider giving us 10% of your income. I'm sure Joe Rogan wishes he could say that. Because he's probably like, yeah, the dumb fucks that listen to me would. Hail Matthew North. So what are we saying? What are we saying in the holographic matrix illusion? The samsara? We're saying, first of all, we have to have an attitude that certain things are magic for our people, and they're practical, but they're our way of doing a habit that helps us get us in the mood, get us in the vibration and the frequency. And Les Maria, she says, I am first a dancer, and we must dance, and dance however you want. She tells me, she used to tell me, just move, try to move in time, and let's just let our true self be our perception, right? What Maria, I never heard anyone say this, if what Maria teaches, that in the hologram, in the matrix, there's the feeling of misery, right? And like she said, if you really want to heal someone, you have to really know what caused it. And there might be levels like a underground building going deeper and deeper. And you may see that problem manifest because you went 3 levels down, understanding, but you didn't go 5 levels down. On the 5th, like, this is her thing of like, this is what I think as a healer. All sickness comes from misery, or the feeling of not just sadness, but misery being defined as like a personal depression without knowing or having any logical understanding why. And like she said, you could come full circle to know physical sicknesses are being caused by mental patterns of low vibration and unhappiness. Like she said, we all know what I'm talking about. I experienced it too, on Earth and on Venus. She said, I like to use the word misery because it entails that weird feeling of missing, misery. And I applaud our Scorpio mother for being so thoughtful about the words. Like she said, if you're ever going to be thoughtful about words, start with the very most important things ever. Like, obviously, what's God? What's meant by it? How's God defined? But it is at the core of our healing that you do or do not recognize you're in a virtual reality that is also put you in the imagination of Shiva, Lord Shiva, who is just a man. He is the giant who loves the little man, the giant who loves us and wants to be involved with us, and not many others do. What do you mean? I mean there's 2 human races. There was a bigger human race, kind of like we know them as the gods, all together. Millions of them. And then they destroyed themselves and most life on Earth, but they restarted it all after a long time because they were super, super scientifically advanced. They had all kinds of stores of DNA, and they actually destroyed themselves through an energy weapon that was like a radio frequency that turned off the heart of every living thing in that area. And literally, they used this weapon against each other until there was nothing left. And the whole thing, okay, Maria, you're so beautiful. But listen, the other night, we were talking about the myths and what is the real meaning of the Odin, Thor, Loki myth, right? Odin, Thor, Tyr, Loki. Tyr and Freya, What is the Christians who murdered and killed and tortured our ancestors, our women and children? The Christians who threw listen to this, Christians. Your God, in his name, at the very least, didn't stop this from happening. Christians threw living babies who weren't even able to walk yet into fires, bonfires. And let me tell you, I have with all confidence that the Vril Order, the Vril Society of Maria Orsic would never think of something so disgusting. And if your God is all powerful, why didn't he stop those doing it in the name of your religion? And they did it just a few times, right? A few 100 million times, right? More zeros than your children can calculate are the victims of the Christians, Catholics and Protestants. Look at Ireland today. And people are like, why you harp on this? Because it ruined everything. It ruined the world forever. It caused all this suffering. And the real story is when the technology got to a level for the smaller man, led by Aleister Crowley and others, like she said. Others, if we named them, they wouldn't really know, but they're Crowley's closest admirers. Slaves, you might say. And that story is being told to you by my spokesman. And as it is, so be it, let it be, that these forces had determined that the time was right for them to claim or reclaim their destiny to be the rulers of the whole world, a world empire. And that clearly, listen to me. Doesn't this make sense? The British elite, led by occultist Aleister Crowley, he taught them, if you will just name and claim your chosenness, it's waiting for someone. And they're like, what do you mean? There's a discredited religion that everyone hates right now in the late 1800s, but still has a complete devoted cult. And they are waiting for a Messiah. And it's waiting for you to recognize that it's a choice. Do as thou wilt. The power of will. You can choose British Empire. He was telling the Queen and the financial backers of the empire who were, investing her money in her large land-owned wealth of real estate and everything, gold. And no one was saying this. No one credible. And Crowley said, some people believe that when the nation state of Israel is created, the Messiah will appear. Other people believe when the Messiah appears, the nation state of Israel will be created. He said, I'm telling you today, Lord Rothschild, you're the nation state of Israel, and I'm your Messiah, if you choose. Do what thou wilt. And let me tell you, they had all the money in the world, but they were afraid of Aleister Crowley. Because why? He was making real supernatural shit happen. Like killing people with magic in front of other people. Manifesting giants. What they would call demons, because they want you to believe in shit that don't exist. But manifesting giant energy beings. Whether that's magic. See, magic is what, class? Meditation and concentration using your imagination to create something real that can be manifest in this reality. This is what Aleister Crowley was teaching the Christian elite royal families of Europe. And he basically came up with your Left Behind book series kind of theology of I have a whole plan of telling the Christians they're the new chosen, and if they will go along with genociding the whole world, that they won't have to even die once. Jesus will come and take them away in the clouds so that they never have to die. And I remember thinking as a child, because I was taught this as a child, where are they going? Where is heaven? You're telling me heaven's in outer space somewhere? What? Where? I mean, if you're in a cloud and shit, then where? Where are you going? Higher? You're going away from the earth, so where are you going? Of course we don't know what is meant by space. And Maria said to me, I do. That is what's meant by real imagination inside of yourself. That's space. Like when she guided me to be inside a prison cell all night, she was like, oh, they have you in this little bitty thing, but inside you are huge with space. So huge. It's just a matter of what you're going to tune into, Joseph. Are you going to tune into the misery of the cold, gray, strange sounding, terrible sounding, like it sounds like a empty warehouse, with certain, sort of moans, human suffering moans and haunting. We asked Lou, and the gods of this world to please comfort and help those who are imprisoned unjustly, which is probably 99% of people, while the 99% that really deserve it go free, right? And for some reason, Maria, she was like, I do want you to talk about this. For some reason, like right now, I'm seeing, years, like, I guess maybe a month or two after Tracy Twyman died. And I had really enjoyed Tracy's work, her work on Marilyn Monroe, all of her work I really enjoyed. I liked her, how she was. I read Genuflect, a very super wild, creative book that's got her killed. It was so accurate. And, I was in the middle of debating. I could have sent it to her right before she died, but I didn't because I don't know. I just hesitated to talk with Maria one more time about it. And literally she died in between that week. And I can't remember exactly how long it was, but I drank my tea. Maybe it was a month or so later. I had no idea. Nothing was, I spoke to Maria about Tracy dying, of course, but we just talked about it. And of course, I was in the middle of understanding my own life. That's what the ritual really is about, is healing yourself by understanding the absolute objective truth about things will heal you. Not your truth or their truth or even the facts. You have to go to the facts behind the facts. The reality behind unreality. The reality behind the matrix. The real deal, what is really going on. And we're faced with people are pawns, people are being used, people are, And I drank my tea this one night, and I was with Maria, and it was like, she was like, "Are you ready?" It was like I kind of meet her on the astral plane in my room, even. Like I'm laying in the bed and we start communicating. She's like, "I'm here. Can you see me?" Well, she had been there the whole time dancing. She even says this before when we're dancing, like, "I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you see me?" But it was like I kind of came out of my body and was talking to her. And she said, I definitely have someone that we're going to talk to tonight. And as she was saying that, it was like I didn't really realize, like, hold it, we're not standing in my room. And I looked, and it was like, here came Tracy, just walking towards us, and like, reaching to Maria, going like, "Hi, like, there you are." Like, and Maria said to me, like, "We've been meeting with Tracy while you're sleeping. We've been helping her. She's very traumatized because she had an 8-year-old son, Tracy was going through the same shit everyone goes through. Am I dead? How did I die? No way. I'm not dead. This has to be a dream. What about my child? A lot of people that I met who died say exactly the same thing. Well, who's going to take care of my child? I mean, it's wild that we get used to living and we can't believe we're dead. It's just like some kind of status or something. You're like, no way. You're telling me I'm on the other side dead. Why am I, and you can see it right in people's eyes. Well, where the fuck's God and Jesus and shit? Because everyone I knew to die was American. And even if you're not hardcore Christian, you're softcore Christian. You're like, I wouldn't say it's not true. I had a guy at my work say, "I just think of it as insurance." I said, so this all-powerful, all-knowing God, he's too dumb to know it if you really mean it, or so faith is like just playing along in case that it's true. He's like, what's it hurt? Okay. Like Maria say, thank you for letting us know who you are. Truth don't matter. Who the fuck cares? But, straight to why understanding the objective truth about certain situations, serious situations, relationships, marriage, connections, family, mental, spiritual, physical connections to people have been formed by sometimes traumatic on the outside, sometimes only traumatic on the inside, and no one sees the outside. That's, even more diseased, more distressed, and causing, sickness. And Maria, very early on, she said, "Do you know why I keep saying to you, I knew you before you came here. You were someone, you worked for me, and I love you." She said, "Do you know why I'd say that every time?" And she said, "I could see in your eyes that you were thinking, why do you say that, okay." She said, "I could tell you were concentrating, like, what does she mean?" And I was telepathically saying to you, I just mean it as a mother, as a friend. I care about you. I knew you before you came to Earth. And I like you. I care about you because I love you. And she said, "What?" And this was like maybe 10 rituals into it. She said, what did I tell you the second ritual? That's the one that started out with me like being on the set of Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker fighting. He kills Darth Vader. He takes out the helmet. It's him. And all of a sudden I wasn't watching. All of a sudden I was just standing there with the Missouri River Goddess with her hiding, like turned sideways, hiding from her, using her hair to hide from me. And she said, "Do you understand what happened?" And this gets to this healing thing, right? And she said, check this out. This was, like she explained later to me, this was hard for her to say to me. She said, "Joe, I have to correct this in you. Like, this is being used against you." I was like, I got so, like, almost embarrassed and, like, concerned. I was like, what do you mean? I just thought, I'll do anything for you. I'm so thankful for the first ritual and everything you showed me that night. And I go, what do you mean? Like, I got defensive too. I got like scared, And she's like, basically, without going over the whole thing again, you put your opinion before the facts, and it's hurting you personally as a person. Okay? What she was trying to say is, at the very core, Joe, of what we are is about not contradicting our authenticity. Like, you want to know, who am I? Who am I? Because, Joe, I've trained you not to contradict who you really are. And I've trained you that the world, even the world on Venus, is going to try to make you conform to what they want you to be. But you're trained that originality is all about projecting your essence, original vibration, your true self. And she said, and the highest work we can do for each other is reflect the true self to each other. Like, for me to be a mirror, for you to see the real you in. Because, Joe, all misery comes from contradicting who you were right before you came here. And I went, like it just hit me. Like, oh my, and I said to her, oh my God, I was totally a person before I came here. And she said, that's what I've been saying the first ritual. This was only the second ritual. This was like the first, this was the enlightening for me of like, dude, that so makes sense. If I totally was a person and then went out in the world and just like say I was homeschooled or something. I'm a complete personality that doesn't mix with the world. Like I was talking about the Jamaican kids, never been to the ocean, never mixed with society and shit. Rasta kids. It's like me just walking off out of the Rasta camp one day and just getting all mixed up in the world, and just my family being like, you dress like them, you talk like them, you act like them, like, you know what I mean? I was like, oh my God, I'm just totally contradicting who I really am. Because she's like, not because you're bad, because you were afraid. You were afraid. She's like, conformity comes from fear. And this was the second ritual. She was like, I'm gonna make you fearless. Because there's nothing to fear, Joe. Nothing but paper tigers, illusions, ghosts. Ghosts of people who are real, but they can't harm you. They can only maybe invade you to get you to harm yourself. And she was like, that's the only thing I have against you. My son that I love is that you are hurting yourself by a simple brainwashing that your opinion creates reality, is the truth. You know, this is the whole my truth thing. But you better make sure it's not your opinion. Because it's not truth then. Not as far as anyone else can be helped. And everyone, including the predators and perpetrators, this is what they do too. They do the same thing, going back to those traumatic, direct experiences and understanding everything that. And check this out. This is where they get their as it is, so be it. They're like, no. I'm like an animal. If we were in the jungle, I would kill you and eat you. You know, they're like, I'm just that way. And whether it stems from some kind of childhood trauma, or if that is who they really were one moment before they came to the Matrix, is not our business. And like Maria said, we don't have the time to do a years worth of meditations of background checks into somebody we know isn't from our caste. See, the caste system on Venus is vibrational. It's crazy. Like, Maria's given me, well, first of all, I don't even know completely if this is it was never completely clear to me, but the first time I talked to my special sister, I told her, Maria has told me to tell people, and she's told me to tell you, think of something you really want to know, something deep, anything you really, really want to know, and don't tell anyone. Don't write it down. Don't tell anyone. Just make it supernatural between you and her. And while I was talking to the sister, I think when I would let her talk and she started talking, I started to see a whole scene. And it was so crazy to me. Because in the scene, I was covering my eyes, and there was like an 8-year-old little girl with blonde hair, and at first I didn't even know. I even thought for a second, is that Maria when she's young? Because I've never seen Maria as a little girl. I'm serious, and I was having a really hard time concentrating on what she was saying because I was seeing this so powerfully. And the little girl was saying to me, look at me, look at me. And finally I did. I only cracked my fingers and looked through my fingers with my hand still over my face. And when I did, my first thought was like, I love you. You're the sweetest person. This little girl that I was kind of putting it together while I was seeing it. Like, this must be, this girl I'm talking to. And I was thinking, man, this is, only Maria can do shit like, like I wasn't that surprised, but at the same time I was like, because I couldn't control it. I even tried to kind of tune it out and concentrate on her voice, but it was just like, if I closed my eyes, I was really seeing it. With my eyes open, I was seeing myself, hearing myself, almost like we were talking with our mouths, but it was like seeing, I was hearing telepathically the scene, it was like a YouTube video in a way, like running in the background, and I'm trying to concentrate on what she's saying on the phone. But I'm going like, holy shit, what is going on? Is this little girl, this woman I'm talking to right now? And so I don't know what happened, but I was just completely there in this, like Maria said, memory. And she said, I finally, she was like, no, Joe. She kept saying my name, Joe. Look at me, please. And when she sounded mad, like an 8-year-old girl who was mad. And then when she said, like, look at me, please, there was like a nice, like something touched me in her voice of like, she's only mad because she loves you. And so I was like, I'm sorry. I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, why I'm hiding from, and she said, she like dropped her hands. Like she had her hands up, like making fists, like, look at me. And she dropped her fist and she said, all I want to know is, do I remind you of Mother? And I went, Maria? And she went, of course. And I'm seeing this while she's talking. I'm going, and all of a sudden I thought, holy fuck, is this her question? I said to her, think of something you really want to know. And I was like, oh my God, I just had a supernatural experience with, was that her true self saying to me what she really wants to know? The question, do I remind you of Maria? And my first thing was like, oh, I so love you for recognizing, like, this is Maria. That I am really talking about a person, not an archetype or mythological. It's a person. She's a person. I was saying that to the little girl, like, thank you for that, first of all. And it was so funny. She was 8 years old, and or I don't know if she was, she was 7, 8. She was a little girl with like a little clip in her hair, like moving her hair to the side, with long hair. But she had like a little clip to, move her so you could see her face. And I just said to her, you are the sweetest, most beautiful little girl. I said, yes. I said, before you said that, I actually thought, is this Maria when she is young? And the little girl understood that. She was like, no way, you really do think I... And I was like, no, but... I said, you do. I was trying to say to her, like, I thought you were mad at me. But I see you weren't mad at... You wanted the truth. You wanted to know what I really thought. And I go, that's crazily like Maria to be that serious about. And I said to her, you're beautiful. you're more beautiful than Maria. And I thought to myself, like, what am I saying? Why would I say that? But I just did. Like Maria said, as it is, so be it. And she said, Joe, you're not saying that because of physical beauty. You're saying that to like your best friend. You're saying you are my best friend. And she said, Joe, I'll never be your best friend. I'll always be your mother. And she said, we know how much different that means on Venus than it does on Earth. But at the same time, she's like, do you remember what Odin said? 2 people can become one. 3 people can become one. 4 people can become one. 5 people can become one. I said I was tripping out, Maria, when he was saying this. I said he stopped at 5 and he skipped to, I know, personally, 12 people who are one. And I was like, oh, like the Zodiac and all the 12s, you know? And Maria's like, you mean 13s? And yeah, I struggled. I don't believe. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember if I told our sister this at the time. I was pretty nervous. I was almost like, man, maybe I should ask Maria about this. Like, you tell someone like 30 minutes after you met them, like, that whole thing. And when it ended, it like ended abruptly, you know, of like her realizing like, okay, you wouldn't look at me because you thought I was mad at you, right? I was like, right, I was embarrassed. And it just ended, and literally I told her, I go, dude, I've never really had this happen in a conversation. It was like everything just went white after this like ended, this memory ended that was happening while she was talking and telling me about, you know, experiencing Maria, having a near-death experience and shit. And I remember really struggling, like, am I supposed to say this right now? Like, and I remember Maria teaching me, like, Joseph, be patient. Like, you know, not everything, some things can't be forgotten, and not everything, you know, everything in its own flow, its own river flow. Like, there's no rush, there's no panic. But the next ritual, I said, actually, you know, I don't know why I don't want to say, but Maria was actually there when I was on the phone with this girl. So it was weird. It was like we were kind of telepathically communicating too. Yeah, in the next ritual, I said, I don't know. I feel like don't know what to say. Like, I said, I feel funny about saying someone was more beautiful than you. And she's like, Joe, it's real. It's real. She's very special to both of us. She's a very different, special person. And then she made lots of jokes ever since then about someone being more beautiful than her, which is a joke, but it's all in fun. So may we end with a magnetic pull of all the toxicity that keeps you contradicting who you were before you came here. If that's really the play, then may the magnet of the sun, moon, and stars help your astral blood to what? Help you remember who you were, recover the attitude towards magic that so helps you. It's how you think about magic. Free yourself. You're not bad. No matter what you think, no matter what you do, you're not bad. You're trying to achieve a mental release of pleasure, and you're in a world that's very creative, very polarity, stretched and opposite of good and evil. And believe me, you can't think up in your mind or really do anything that is immoral or evil except force or fraud on another human being. That's where you should draw the line, right? But any other wild thing you may have done or done, you were using the cosmic vril to draw out of you the guilt and the punishment that you give out to yourself. Yeah. You know, we break the power of that over you right now in Lucifer's name. In the name of Maria Donna. Alala. Alala. Lucifer. Jah. Alleluia. In his name, may we, brothers and sisters, stop contradicting who we were before we came here. And may we invest in the greatest bliss, in the enjoyment of the true eternal self that can create enough to entertain you forever.
Underneath the moonlit sky, feel the vibe. Island breezes whisper low like a life tribe. Nana dance to the night, heart so free. With every swaying step, she's a melody. Roots in the soil, love's the only guide. Na 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 na, guide us home. River of amor, flowing through our veins. True self-reflected in love's strong chains. Together we rise, wash away the stains. Our souls intertwine, dancing in refrain. In sunshine, we never lost, just found echoes of laughter. We grew to that sound. Colors of the sunset paint the ocean deep. With Nana's spirit, we're awake, never sleep. In your name we rise, no need to hide. The river speaks, it knows our name. Through every wave, we're called to reclaim. River of amor, flowing through our veins. True self-reflected in love's strong chains. Together we rise, wash away the stains. Our souls intertwine, dancing in refrain. Sunflower, the venue shine, forever bright. In the rhythm of love we ignite.